The topic of this video is going to be making a Celtic or Celtic knot on the table saw. I have a piece of mountain ash here, which I'm going to use to make it of, and I have a piece of paddock that's going to be used for making the rings. Okay, first thing, you have to put in what you take out. So that means that the thickness of the ring that you insert needs to be the same thickness as the saw blade, the cut that you're making. I have a template piece here. It ranges from 2.5 to 4 millimeters, and my saw blade is slightly over 3, so this is about the right dimension. If you don't do that, then the figures, the rings will not align. Next thing is that I've cut the paddock first to be exactly the same width as the square piece of wood. That is useful for the gluing process, because it fits better in the mold that way. Then the next thing we have to do after cutting the blank is to cut the wood slices for the rings. Of course this works, this can work on a table saw, but it's a bit tricky. The first thing is that the slit here is narrower than the width of the wood, so if I don't do anything, then after it is cut off, it will simply fall through and probably get damaged by the saw blade that way. So I need to find a way to keep it where it is when it is cut. Now the method that I have thought of is to use double stick tape. I'm simply going to put a piece of double stick tape on the guard here, and this guard it can be moved with slides, 2 screws here on the other side, and I've made them a bit loose so that it doesn't have hardly any horizontal play, but I'm able to slide the guard and guide the piece along the saw. What I will do is I will glue it here with a double stick tape, and then move the whole thing forward into the saw blade. And after it has been cut completely, I will stop the saw and take out the piece. That's the plan. I guess I'm set up. So now I'm peeling off the non-stick coat from the double stick tape, pressing the paddock against it. It's looking good, and there we go. That's one. I want to make a 4-fold knot, so I need to cut 4 pieces in total. And the last one. And there we have it. 4 slabs of Paduk of approximately 3 mm. At least they are all the same thickness. And a small piece left over. So that's how I make the slabs. This will come off and gets thrown into the garbage. Next step is to make the first cut in the blank. I've set the saw such that the saw blade just cuts through. With when you want to have a ring with 4 segments, I think that's the best way. Okay, then I have a clamp which goes on here, and remember I've set the distance here on the on this side of the guide, and it gives me a stop that I can put the wood against, so that I'm always cutting at the same point. The wood is marked 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to do 1 cut, put it on the template, let it dry, cut the next one tomorrow, and so on. First cut done. And here's the jig that I made. It's actually a glue up of 3 pieces of plywood, 1 thicker one underneath, and then 2 with a slot in the middle. That slot is where the to be glued in segment is going to fit in like this, and then the other piece obviously comes against it, and everything will be coated with glue. In order to avoid gluing it to the jig, I'm using a simple slice of newspaper. Next thing is the glue. Checking extra careful that it lines up here underneath and here on the top. And the jig should make sure that everything stays square. Attaching the clamps causes a little movement still in the blank, and I'm not having it too tightly at the moment. It will not change position, and that's what counts. But it has to fit seamless onto the inserted piece. But I think it does. So that's all for now, and then I'll bring you guys back tomorrow when this has dried. It's the other day. I'm going to take it out. I hope it's not too embarrassing, because I really haven't looked at it. Ah, perfect. Just a little bit of the newspaper, but that'll come off when I turn it. So now I'm going to go off camera, removing the two pieces that are sticking out, and then we are ready to make the next cut. That was actually pretty straightforward. I've used a hand saw and the belt sander, and yeah, that's smooth. The only thing is that on two of the surfaces I sanded away the numbers that I had written on them, so I had to redo those. But right now I have side number 2 up, and we're going to make the next cut. That one went even better than the first one. I have a little cut off from the paddock that I can now use to spread the glue out.